Hey, this is Ezra, and I'm trying something a little bit different. We're going to do a commentary track on this for my Patreons to kind of talk about the making of this video, Nothing Under the Sun, which was a song that is a collaboration with Wimpy Kid, or Kid Wimpy as he's called now, which is a really cool song, really something very different for me. And so we wanted to do, me and the Buck 50 team wanted to do something very different, of course, for the video than what we had done in the past. And this is, I'm going to kind of talk about some different footage I've dropped in here, but and we'll go through how the different scenes of this video, and I'm going to do a little bit longer commentary for those because I've had a lot of questions about this. This is in Oak Cliff, and this is an apartment building that they've just built that has a great view of downtown. Now, there's probably going to build high-rise apartment buildings and block these poor people's beautiful view of downtown, but that is the actual downtown Dallas that I blow up. We have some more footage coming up here, and these are some different car scenes, what I call B-roll, that we shot to kind of show that I was going through a day, a normal day, like going to work. There you saw the scene of downtown Dallas. That was shot from Oak Cliff, Dallas. Oak Cliff, as you know, is where, the Kennedy, where the dude that shot Kennedy ran over to Oak Cliff to the Texas Theater. Oh, I'm talking too fast. There's a lot of stuff happening. This is easier for a movie. But, so you have this kind of planet, which looks like the moon, is basically the moon. Plays kind of a character in this video, and I created that in Photoshop with a lot of different pictures of the moon and of the desert and desert mountains and stuff like that I kind of put together and composited this picture of space, including that tree that I loved, that I kind of made it pink flowers. This was a cool little old school effect we did that you'll see a little bit further on with the hands coming out of the TV, where I basically blocked the hands. I cropped them off from a green screen and was able to put them right there where the TV, because it's a steady shot. And Hallie, my wife, who also helps with a lot of these videos, and that was her right there pushing up her brassiere, took a lot of these scenes here. This is the first time she's ever shot camera, and so we had what was real frustrating about this video is we had shot the whole thing with her and found out that it was blurry, it was out of focus, the entire shoot, which was a huge shoot, and we had to redo a lot of the footage. Some of the footage is still Hallie's footage. That's Hallie right there, and a lot of it had to be redone by Susie. She came in and reshot a lot of these things that you'll see in here. And this right here is the library in Buck 50 Studios, and I actually put shelves in where they aren't because I wanted to look a little bit different in there. And you're also seeing the video unfiltered. a lot of this is just without the filters on it. And we did a lot of driving around, shooting. This is basically the scenes of the video were supposed to be me getting up and just a regular day, and then the world blowing up at the end. This is also shot in the Buck 50 library, where we put a green screen behind the doorway. You'll see that later. And this world was a 3D world. This is a early kind of rendition of the blowing up Dallas thing. I was just testing it to see how I was going to do that. I've never done any kind of, I don't know what I don't even know what it's called, CGI work or whatever. You can see it's not very good. I wanted the building to fall, and in the end, my little Mac Mini just could not handle it. Like this right here took 8-9 hours just to render out, and this was just a test to see if I could actually pull it off. And so in the end, it got real short. This was supposed to be a big scene. And after I did this test, I was like, no way. It's got to get really short, and I've got to kind of disguise, like the movie Jaws, if you ever listen to his commentary on that. The shark was horrible. It didn't work. And so really, I had to just do really short scenes that did work. And if I could say anything to anybody that's trying to make music videos or films, is don't use the stuff that don't work. Don't use it. Just use what works, and if it doesn't work, don't put it in, and then you end up with something really good. That was something I was real proud of. It's called a match move that I did on the phone. And here you get some early renditions of the planet, of the moon. I took out those mountains. Actually, a few people told me that they really didn't work with the scenes. You'll notice that the mountains are just gone, and I put the earth in the back. This helmet I actually created from Jim Starr, who's a local artist, gave me a lot of his stuff he uses for his artwork, which is just junk that he finds, and I built that little helmet out of that. And if you can tell who that is in the crown of it, it's kind of a neat little thing that runs through this video, a theme of a certain band. This is shot in my bedroom, and we just had some beautiful lighting that day, so it just worked really good. This is, of course, no filters on these. This is the library with the green screen cloth that I went to a fabric store and bought. Now you'll see there's a little bit of light coming through. That was a huge problem with green screening. Although it didn't affect this scene, as you could see, I could just crop myself out of that. But there's a few where we left the light on behind these fabric, and that changes the green. Of course, it's not green. Also, the shadows in there make it a little bit harder, but not impossible. It just takes more time. And when you're working like I am with the bare minimum computer, the cheapest, it's not a pro computer, it's a consumer computer, then you really got to, from pre-production, get things right, because my computer doesn't have the torque to do a lot of this in the time frame that I have to do it. This is, again, something we did as an effect that didn't work out too well in the end. I can't even remember if this is used in the video. We have Hallie. She's my wife, and she's real small, so she was behind me with that light, and it moves up behind me. And of course, the green screen, taking that out was really difficult with that dark and the graininess of that camera. If you can see all the grain inside of this video. Another thing that did not work is right here. We thought, oh, this is smart. We'll just look on YouTube and find a green screen video and project that, right? No. Because it's projecting the green, the spill, like crazy all over my face and my hands. So we actually had to go cut poster board out and glue it to the TV for this final scene. And I did end up using this, though, and just kind of messing with the colors, but it doesn't look so good. And now I watch it, I wish I wouldn't have done that. And you'll see on the left side of this wall, you'll see I replaced in the final video where I duplicated this shelf and made it look like kind of a cavernous library that I'm sitting inside of. And this guy, he's kind of Ezra's character too, where he's kind of the knowledgeable one that's telling the commentator in the song, because if you listen to the song, it's got somebody that's actually commenting on life. And then I kind of pictured in the song that is a different character than me that is singing the song. And so he's more of the one that is in the know. He's not even in the story, in the mythology of the video and the song, this person with the buns is not actually a person. He's just a kind of the all-seeing narrator that narrates. And we did a lot of this. We have been doing videos inside of this studio, which is a music studio. It's not a video studio. We've converted part of it, you'll see in a little while, to a green screen area. And it's difficult. The ceilings are real low. It's hard to get back far enough to get full body, feet and head shots. We have to stretch all the way back into Studio A to shoot in 3 rooms over to get this with the kind of lenses that I have, which is not much. Now you see here, we did a lot better with this right here. This is when Susie came back, and she's my regular videographer. When she came back, we took more time and got the back green screen a lot well lit. And what you want to do is get far enough away from that where I can be lit. You can see that I'm lit right here, but I'm not casting shadows on the screen behind me. And that comes from just getting far enough away from the screen. And in lighting, we have lights that are pointed directly at the green screen off camera, and you can't see those. So I'm actually lighting 2 different things. I'm lighting the foreground and the background so I can get a nice clean key on this image. And this one actually keyed out really nice. I had to do 2 keys because, of course, the green tape that we used to put this up is a different color green than the green fabric that we use. And I'd always suggest, if you can afford to buy something that is key green, or go get something really unnatural green, then do that. This is what we found. A lot of these videos are made in an extreme rush, and so this is just what we found, and we used it. When I make a video, I don't want to put out something that we're not proud of, so I have a lot of them in pocket. And this video itself we started shooting on this in Christmas of 2014, and didn't release until, I guess it was March or May, until it released of 2015, because it just wasn't working. My computer, it's only a 4-minute song, but some of the scenes, like the blow up Dallas scene, were just not outputting. It would just crash, and so I got a little bit more RAM, I think, or something. We cleaned up my computer and tried to make it work a little bit better. I don't know if you saw that, but my hand disappeared, because that was actually a split screen. The TV in front of me, there was not a TV in front of me. When I stuck my hand out, I was splitting that screen. Okay. On YouTube, I think we're about to see something that YouTube also a few people on YouTube offer free sci-fi kind of things on green screens, and this is one of them that I found that they offer. And so it's not a very high quality, though. That's the deal. You can use this, but if you want to go buy it at HD quality, then you have to do it. This is at 720, 1080 at 720, which my video is at a higher resolution of that. So what I did is just disguised it. I keyed out the green, and we did when we scaled it up, it really kind of got a little bit blurry, and I disguised it. But I really despise, that's hard to say after disguise, what's going on nowadays with everybody putting filters on to disguise all kinds of things, and lighting, and a lot of times they soften a lot of things to hide their bad production. And it's going on like rampant right now. Even TV shows are just blurring the crap out of everything, and the focal blur and everything is cool, but it's being used to, like this right here, they would just blur out the whole scene, or put some kind of, in music videos they'll put floating objects, dust and stuff that's blurred out. And you'll see I use some stuff that's like that to disguise, but I don't want to lose the crispness of my videos. And I do that sometimes because I just have to. Because if you see here, the resolution of the camera she was shot on was not very good at all. The lighting, and I had to scale her up, because once again we had to get so far away to get a full body shot of her on the green screen, that I did have to do some kind of disguise work, which I hate. Now what you're seeing right now is before any filters are on it. This is just the composited footage from different layers. And I built the tree, and if you see the earth and the different mountains and everything, those are a bunch, even the rocks on the ground are all composited inside of Photoshop so that they can move. And what I'm doing is pulling the foreground of this desert floor here away from those mountains, and you see that earth again. I'll talk about that blowing up. That, as you can see right there, is some really low resolution stuff, because I couldn't afford the stock footage of an earth that I wanted. The sun, luckily, I was able to grab something that's high enough where I could really show that off here in this skeleton scene. And I actually kind of hid this in the end. I kind of filtered it to look like it was night, and I hid a lot of the skeletons where they're real dark. And once again, I kind of hid it because I was embarrassed, because once again, that's a real cheesy green screen freebie that I use, those skeletons, and of a 3D thing, and I just hid it. Now here we see the spaceship without any of the hidden snow. It's got the first things of the snow that I used to kind of hide the resolution of this thing. It looks okay, but you can tell that it's a low resolution. Now this spaceship at the top of this one, the bars in the end actually blocked it out, and I felt like it wasn't missed. Like they're like, where's that beam coming from? In the story, I don't think you really need to know where it's coming from. We just know that the tree of life is created. And that's what the little pink tree is what I call it, the tree of life. You'll see some trial things here that I used that I eventually had to purchase. And that's the snow that you see going. I used a lot throughout this snowing on the moon. And I found a cool, I think it was through Pixel Farm, that had this snow plugin that has a bunch of different snow plugins. Once again, you saw her with the helmet, and you can really see the snow here. That does a really nice thing, although I would have preferred to do shaved ice like the movie productions. Now here's some shots that Susie did, were just beautiful. I'm not sure that I think we used them right at the very end. You know, just really neat shots I wish I could have used. She's really good with the capturing that light, the natural light. We use a lot of natural lighting in the productions that we do. And a lot of people I talk to, and I say a lot, like people I know that are making music videos, they try to do all this lighting stuff in post-production, but that's where you end up kind of looking like everybody else, because everybody's using those filters and plugins you're doing. So when you do it right and you really use lighting tools in your pre-production, you come around with something that's a little more unique and thought out, and you can actually use those filters to add something cool and more that grab that light that's being used. I'm not saying I do this all the time, but where we can. Right here, I was talking about that split screen. You see that Hallie, she's real small, so she was able to kind of go behind. We also had a camera shooting from behind where you can't even see Hallie back there. And what I did is we also shot her. You'll see in a minute, I think we shot this same scene. We didn't move the camera. And I'm just holding the TV with my hand, and she gets out of the way. And so I spliced that in half, and all of a sudden she's gone, and we can use that to pull the hands out of. Okay, here's some with the actual production with the final filters. This is a low quality one we're looking at here, but you can see that I really kind of darkened things in the end. Actually, I don't know if this is the final one, but it did get real dark on the planet, and it really wasn't a hiding thing, because I actually like it crisp too. It was just that kind of like that dark mood of her, of that planet, of that story that's on the moon. And these were some cool shots that Hallie did driving around. And this is what I was telling you, where the light was used. The green screen was actually illuminated, and you'll see that kind of breaking apart. That was a cool scene that Hallie, she was an actress, or she is an actress. She's done movies and lots of commercials, like lots and lots of stuff, theater productions. So it's actually cool to get her, because she's not afraid to experiment. Right there, you kind of saw that green screen breakup. She's not afraid to act and to try different things, and she tried some different things, and she's not afraid of looking evil, like that little entity with the blowing up the world, or taking the energy of the world. And this was just a really cool scene we shot in the Studio B, which is next to Studio A and Bug 50, that we've turned into a green screen room. You see here there's no filters on that, so she's a little soft, because in order to shoot her foot and head for these scenes, because I needed her feet, I thought I did, we turned the camera sideways, and we shot the green screen. That's not in this footage, but we shot the camera sideways so that it's flipped, and I could actually shoot long ways and get her entire thing. That way we didn't have to like go way far away, because I don't have the correct filters. Now you see the final production of the skeletons here, which I guess that does, now that I just said, it does look a lot more dramatic with the dark. And there's the scene that Susie shot with those lights, just really beautiful lights. This is once again another test. Oh, this is a little bit more of the test that we did. Let's just see if we could do this, because that's how the whole video started. Was and here's some birds I've also found on YouTube. We screened out. Now this is real low res, so I had to do a lot of work to just pull out the contrast of the black birds, and you'll see that in there. And I love this shot of Hallie when she's dressed up as the entity. And what was I saying? Oh, the video is kind of built around that scene of blowing up Dallas, and that we see the world as a very, just our mundane, getting up, making coffee, taking a shower, and going to work. But every once in a while on this planet, something amazing or terrifying happens. And that's what it's kind of about, is this shocking ending that we don't know. You know, this is the little place that we live, and there's this whole vast universe outside of us. That was the idea of the video. The song was actually written a long time ago, and a thing that I have that's difficult for me is coming back to these songs, because I've moved way, even if it was just a year ago, I've moved way in the way that what I'm working on, the things that I'm trying to portray in my music and my art has changed so much within just a year that I even have a hard time kind of getting into the mood to make these videos in the same mood that the song was made in, because I don't understand it still. And I'm not saying I don't understand what the song was about, I just don't understand the mood. I can't get into it. So I don't mind kind of interpreting the song in video with where I am right now. And you've seen that on a few different videos. Suicidal Teeth was a video that we did. That's a dark song, and it was recorded in a very, very dark place. Yet I'm in a more hopeful time in my life, and so that I wanted to portray that hope. And also in this video, Nothing Under the Sun, same thing, very dark song, very dark place. But because I am interpreting it where I am right now, it has a little bit of a hopeful ending with the sprouting of the tree of life on the moon again at the very end, if you catch that. This was in the library, some handheld green screen we did. I wish we had time to use that. I actually did some tests with that, which was really cool, with the sky and everything matched, moved with me, and the camera moving. There's Hallie. I hope she has clothes on. I didn't realize that the scene was in there. And this is us in the library. We did some late night tests. When the crew leaves, sometimes we'll put her to work, and we'll go in there and just try some ideas. It's okay. She has a studio here too, and I help her with her projects. So we have a trade-off, and there's my big tummy. I actually lost some weight since then. This is where you see her hands. This is where this is a test that we were trying to do with her hands coming out of the TV, and this was like an old school effect that I knew how to do actually from a kid when I had a Super 8 camera. I looked into a lot of these effects. I never actually did them, so I knew some of this camera trickery that we did, and I think we actually ended up using that. Here's kind of a close-up of Hallie. You'll see that the helmet is lit from the inside. These are LED lights that I found. And the reason we didn't get to use this footage a lot is because you'll see it goes green. There's a green light, and it's on a green screen. And so at points, her face greens out with the green lights, and I just didn't even think about that. And so we shot this. Hallie didn't have time. She was working on another project to come reshoot those helmet shots. Or we probably would have used a lot more of that. You'll see that I have hooked the chandelier to the ceiling, which it gets in the way, and I'm actually wanting to use it in a video that's coming up, and so it's in use in a video, but a lot of times I'll just strap it up like that, and you'll see that I told you earlier that we turned the camera sideways so that I could get a full shot, because when you're thinking of green screen, I just need her. I don't care about all the landscape behind her. And this was just some tests that we did, but I did turn it sideways. That way, in a very short space, I don't have a lot of room in front of her unless I go into another room and shoot through a door. And so this allows me to get real close, yet get the entire body. And also, a lot of, these are on a budget. We had a green wall. It's not lit very well right now. But then I had this fabric. I decided, I need her feet, and so I grabbed this fabric and threw it on the floor. And you'll see there's 3 different kinds of green. Man, what a nightmare this was. Huge nightmare. I would never suggest this. In post, trying to key out, this 3 or 4, 5, 6 keys, because there's 7 shades of green in this. There's the shadows of the green. There's the green background. There is the green tape. There is the overlit, blasted out green. So if you're doing this, I would really suggest that you take a lot of time on your green screen. And I ended up using some of this because I didn't have a choice, but we learned our lesson. This was our first green screen shoot, and we've recently done a video called Road Design that was shot in a green screen studio, so we're getting a little more hip with the whole thing. So I hope you enjoyed the commentary. If there's any questions about making the videos, I am a musician. I could really care less whether you know all the tricks that I learn or if you learn alongside me. I make these videos to promote my music, to make it more enjoyable for the people to listen to and to share on Facebook. And so if there's anything you wonder how I did it, it's no big deal. Just ask me and I'll let you know. And thank you so much for being a patron on patreon.com/Ezra Vancil. You guys are making the music videos happen because I would not do them otherwise unless I had your help, and you are helping to make it happen. And if you've been doing it now for I think 6 months, and we've got 6 or 7, 8 videos out. I love it. I love you. Thank you.